Way back in the pre-shot clock era when the league was young, the first crop of superstars would shape the game for future generations. Standing 6'8", Ed Macauley helped pave the way for future scoring big men. So join me today as I go through his entire career in the basketball experiment. Ed Macauley was selected as a territorial pick by the St. Louis Bombers in the 1949 draft. He flashed potential high-level scoring ability in his rookie season, averaging 16.1 points per game and finishing 6th in true shooting percentage. But the Bombers still had a long way to go, winning only 26 games. But the Bombers would never get the chance to improve. They folded in the offseason. Macauley would be selected by the Boston Celtics in the dispersal draft. In the 1951 season, his sophomore year, and Red Auerbach's first year in Boston, Macauley accelerated to an All-NBA first-team level, averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, and having nearly 16 win shares. In the short 5-year history of the Celtics, this was the first winning season in franchise history. The first postseason for the Celtics was unremarkable, losing both games to the Knicks in the semis. In the 1952 playoffs, playing the Knicks in the semis again and trying to close them out in Game 2, Macauley put up an offensive masterpiece. 36 points on 14 of 18 from the field and a perfect 8 of 8 from the foul line. But the Celtics fell short, and in Game 3, Macauley could not repeat the performance, and the Celtics were eliminated. The Celtics would finally break through in the 1953 playoffs, advancing to the Eastern Division Finals, but it would be another defeat at the hands of the Knicks. Macauley dropped down to the All-NBA second team in 1954, but he was still easily playing at a first-team level. And now we will take a look at what I feel is the peak of Ed Macauley, the combination of the 1953 and 1954 regular seasons. First with the basic stats, 19.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds, and 3.9 assists. There are no stocks recorded for another 20 seasons. He shot nearly 47% from the field, just a shade under, including in 1954, shot 48.6%, which led the league, which puts into perspective how poor league-wide shooting was at this point. But it also proves how efficient Ed Macauley was during his own era. The advanced stats, PER at 23.9 and the win shares per 48 at .245. Pretty incredible stuff. Easily an All-NBA first-team level. In my opinion, pretty close to an MVP level, almost hitting that 25-25 club. Also, during both these seasons, he led the league in true shooting percentage. So definitely during this era, Macauley is easily one of the best players in the league, and I feel is owed a debt of gratitude for his efficiency, which I think was a little bit ahead of his time. In the playoffs, the Celtics were back in the division finals, but lost both games to the Nationals. Macauley did not look like the same player in 1955, and the Celtics fell down to 500. However, in the playoffs, the Celtics would have their third straight division finals run, but lost again, unable to become a true contender. In 1956, Macauley was playing 5 less minutes a game. As it appeared, the former superstar's best play was behind him. Now we're going to take a look at the combined 1955 and 56 seasons and compare them back to his peak, the combination of the 53 and 54 seasons. First, the basic stats. The points go down by 2, 19.6 to 17.5. The rebounds go down 8.6 to 7.2. The assists go down by half an assist from 3.9 to 3.4. The big noticeable drop-off, the field goal percentage at 46.9%, dropping down to 42.3%, with virtually the same amount of field goal attempts. A little bit alarming drop-off when it doesn't appear to be there was any injuries. He's not that old at age 26 and 27, even though back then players aged quickly. That's still not very old. But we'll check the advanced stats. The PER takes a pretty big fall from 23.9 to 18.7, and the win shares per 48 falls off a cliff from 0.245, dropping down to 0.158. In my opinion, the level performance drop goes from hovering around an MVP level to now at an all-star level, which is not nothing and is still an impressive level, but it's such a dramatic fall. It feels like it happened overnight. And the only speculation, because it's just speculation, I don't know for sure that I can provide, is that it just seems a little interesting that the first year of the shot clock coming in, Macaulay's numbers take quite a dip. And then the second year, they stay at the same level that he had fallen to. So perhaps the game did get a little sped up for him, but I don't know. That is just speculation. But it's just very interesting to see how his performance level fell off that dramatically. In the playoffs, the Celtics' division finals streak ended as they lost in the semis. In the offseason, Macaulay would be involved in one of the most important trades in NBA history. He would be sent to the St. Louis Hawks for the draft rights to an athletic, defensive-minded center. 1957 would be Macaulay's last year at an all-star level. The Hawks finished under 500, but had a Cinderella run in the playoffs that ended in a heartbreaking Game 7 loss to the Celtics in the finals. Macaulay became a role player in 1958 and provided veteran production in the playoffs as the Hawks avenged themselves, winning the championship. Early in the 1959 season, Macaulay would be named the player-coach of the Hawks. He would finish the season as the coach, but after 14 games, his playing career came to an end. And now we will take a look back at the prime of Ed Macaulay, encompassing the 1952 through 1955 seasons. First with the basic stats, averaging 19 points per game, 8.4 rebounds, 3.8 assists, while shooting 44%. The advanced stats, PER at 22.4, average win shares per season 12.9, and the win shares per 48 at 0.225. In my opinion, easily at an All-NBA first-team level, very comfortably one of the best players in the league at this time, and as I mentioned earlier, just an incredibly efficient player for his time. And now we'll take a look at the playoffs and compare them to the regular season. We already see a dramatic decline in points per game, dropping from 19 to 15.4, although funny enough, the shooting percentage increases slightly from 44 to 46. Although he's taking 2 less shots a game in the playoffs, the rebounds just slightly go down, 8.4 to 7.8. The assists, a tiny increase from 3.8 to 4. The advanced playoff stats, PER drops from 22.4 to 18.4. And the win shares per 48, a very dramatic drop-off, 0.225 to 0.14. So we do see the struggle Macaulay had in his career playing in the playoffs, nowhere close able to match his first-team All-NBA level in the regular season. In the playoffs, at that borderline All-Star level, which is extremely disappointing for how good he was in the regular season. Of course, he was able to win a championship with the St. Louis Hawks. As we already went through it, he was a different player at that phase of his career, not being the All-NBA level contributor he was in Boston. So yes, the playoff performance is very disappointing. He makes this list because we can't ignore him being one of the best players during his era in a 5-year stretch. Even though it heavily swings to the regular season, it is still impressive, and he deserves a lot of credit for that regular season run. If you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And thank you for watching.